p.m. Let's first do roll call. Do we have roll call?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Joining us in person, Director Fruin.
Here.
Barbadillo.
Here.
Makachuk.
Present.
Tyson.
Here.
Chair Klein.
Here.
Vice Chair Meadows.
Here.
Director Rennie.
Here.
Showalter.
Here.
Hines.
Present.
Joining us remotely, we have Director Hilton.
Here.
Director Martinez Beltran.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum of our board present.
Thank you very much. First, we have some ceremonial items. We're here tonight to recognize our annual Energy SVC scholarship competition winners. So Empower Silicon Valley is the annual SVCE student scholarship competition. Since the program began, SVCE has contributed over $100,000 in scholarships for local students in our communities. The Empower Silicon Valley competition encourages both clean energy education and early career professional development. Since it is an annual project for Silicon Valley Clean Energy Climate Core Outreach Fellowships, it's also an important part of our organization. Each year, the SVCE Community Outreach Fellows organizes the competition and decides on the theme and format. Throughout the history of its competition, it has taken several different formats, such as Bike to the Future for electric bike building and a short film competition. This year, we invited students to create artwork that creatively showcases the contest theme this year of powering communities. The theme encouraged students to show how clean energy makes communities healthier and stronger, powering schools, homes, and businesses. High school students were asked to design an art piece for display in the future SVCE headquarters, which I did a quick tour earlier today, so can't wait to see how that looks. And elementary high school students were asked to design a sticker for use at our community events. Today, Sunnyvale students Chloe D. and Rehan P. Will receive certificates for their award-winning submissions. Chloe D. is a student at Homestead High School, and Rehan P. is a student at Stockelmeyer Elementary. Their artwork is being featured now. So I just want to congratulate all of our scholarship winners and all those who ended up submitting artwork. Thank you for taking the opportunity to learn more about clean energy and how to envision a cleaner, brighter future. So Chloe and Rehan, if you want to come to the front, so I can congratulate you in person. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you so much for participating.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. We'll do another set of photos with, oh, I don't need to be in, you should be in this one. There we go. And actually, let's do this. Let's open it up, hold it back. There we go. That's
A couple. Great.
fantastic. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you. And next up is public comment on matters not listed on the agenda. This is the opportunity for the public to speak on matters not listed on tonight's agenda. Speakers are customarily limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and each speaker can only speak once during this. I don't see any speakers in the room. Is there any remote speakers wishing to speak on this non-agenda items?
No remote speakers, Chair.
Okay, and no one at our remote location? Seeing none. We will move on to our consent calendar. Did any of our board members have any comments or questions about our consent calendar items? I'll go ahead and open up for public comment to poll or comment on any of our consent calendar items. I see no one in the room. Is there anyone remote wishing to speak on consent?
None online, Chair.
Okay. Bring it back to the board for a motion. Director Makachek,
I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
thank you.
I will second.
Thank you. Can you please conduct the voice vote?
Yes, thank you. Director Rennie,
Aye.
Barbadillo, Vice Chair Meadows,
Aye.
Showalter,
Aye.
Hines,
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
Thank you. Fruin,
Aye.
Tyson,
Yes.
Martinez Beltran,
Aye.
Makachek,
Aye.
Chair Klein.
Aye.
Thank you. That carries unanimously.
Thank you. We'll move on to our regular calendar. First up is our CEO report. Monica?
Yes, so I took the opportunity to put together some slides for the CEO report tonight on account of we didn't have a very jam-packed agenda. So I thought maybe I would highlight some of the different items in the CEO report. I know you all read it carefully. So anyway, next slide, Andrea. So this is the content of your CEO report that I provide every month. And the items highlighted in yellow are the ones that I wish to speak to tonight, not necessarily in this order, but I'll highlight these, starting with announcements of our new hires, including our summer interns and promotions. So with that, we will invite Cheyenne Leap to join us. She is our community engagement intern, and she would like to address the board. I hope I said your name right.
Hello, members of the board. Good evening. I'm Cheyenne Lippy, the community engagement intern, and I'm very excited to be working with SV Clean Energy. As I've always been environmentally conscious, it's been really important to me to work with organizations that are doing impactful work that I believe will make a positive difference. I'm really excited about the transition into renewable energies, and I think that it's really exciting to be part of this, and I think that the organization is doing really incredible work in the community. My background is in environmental education, of working with students of all ages and ability levels, connecting them with nature, and also providing hands-on learning opportunities for them. Outside of work, I enjoy cooking, backpacking, and learning about California native plants. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next summer intern working on demand flexibility and analytics is Chris Nuka. I probably said his name wrong too, sorry.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Chris Kimanga Ndongo, and I'm the Demand Flexibility Analytics intern. Previously to this role, I've worked at the California Public Utilities Commission, looking at the regulatory landscape around demand response. I've also worked at the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, looking at system-wide impacts of demand response, electrification, and energy efficiency. Outside of work, I enjoy working out, kayaking, hiking, and I'm excited to be here at SVCE trying to grapple demand flexibility and its value. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, and then our last summer intern working on decarb programs is Sonia.
Hello, good evening, members of the board. My name is Sonia. I'm the decarbonization programs intern at SVCE. I just recently graduated from Cal Poly with a degree in environmental management and protection and a minor in geographic information systems. I have a background in sustainability with my work in greenhouse gas accounting and research in carbon sequestration and regenerative agriculture. What really drew me to SVCE is not only their mission to increase clean energy, but also to serve customers and increase quality of life in their service territory. In my free time, I really enjoy to hike, backpack. I love to travel, and I'm very interested in music as well. I love to sing and dance, and I play a little bit of piano. So nice to meet you all today.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, now on to new employees, new permanent employees, including Alan Robbins, who's our new Power Resource Settlements and Compliance Analyst. Now, Alon used to be one of our summer interns, so he graduated to a full-time employee, and we're excited to have him.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I am Alon Robbins, the new Associate Power Settlement Analyst. I had my undergraduate was from UC Davis studying wildlife biology. And then I recently finished a master's degree at UCSB studying environmental science and management, where I was working with the city of Santa Barbara to help them build a roadmap to electrify their existing residential sector. During my time as a master's student, I was also an intern, like Monica mentioned, here at SVCE with the programs team. And I really got to know the SVCE team and how passionate they are about the clean energy transition. And that's something that I really admired and wanted to be a part of. In my free time, I love being in nature, rock climbing, playing pickleball, and doing wildlife photography. It's nice to meet you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then our next new employee, Senior Administrative Assistant, and she's here tonight to introduce herself as well, Tatiana Makoni.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Tatiana Makoni. Happy to be here and happy to meet each of you. Prior to coming to SVCE, I'm interning with the City of Brisbane in the Records Management Department with the City Clerk. I'm working on receiving a master's in Records Administration and Archives from San Jose State University. What drew me to SVCE was I wanted to be part of an organization whose mission aligned with making a positive impact on the community. And I look forward to working with each of you and supporting each of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, well, you can see we've been busy hiring people. We've also promoted interns to finance, risk, and data analyst, and he is not here tonight or remote. All right, so that concludes the staff updates. We move into the highlighting some recent and upcoming events that we've been participating in the community. And to speak to that is Juliet.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Juliet Pasquale, Community Engagement Specialist. I think we can go ahead. Oh, thank you. So we've been out at several different summer events. The season has fully kicked off. So we have some nice pictures highlighting where we've been in the community. We were thankful to be a part of the Mountain View Tech Showcase. We saw Director Showalter there and many other members of the community. I think even Bruce back there stopped by when we were out tabling and with the Dream Home. So we've been out doing some cool things. You can also see a photo of our agency truck, the Ford Lightning, powering a local band for a Sunnyvale National Night Out event. And we've been also at the recent Silicon Valley Youth Climate Summit, which I think is the next slide. And so we have some photos highlighting our participation there as well. We were actually co-hosts of the summit, so Monica was able to do a welcome introduction for the entire event. Eric Rodriguez was a panelist at the air quality panel, and we were there tabling and talking to the local youth about climate solutions. And then I think our next slide also just features where we're going to be for the rest of the late summer and upcoming fall. So as you can see, we're going to be busy. We are at, I think all of those show a different service area, city or town that we're going to be at in the next few weeks. So lots of cool things coming our way, and we're happy to be out in the community, and hopefully we'll see you there. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, so also wanted to provide an update on some of our efforts or some of the successes that we've had in building a durable, sustainable, reliable, and affordable portfolio of clean resources. So we have we had a few things to highlight here, included in your packet. On item 2C on consent was for you all to approve the resource disclosure report. That's a report that we provide to the California Energy Commission on an annual basis as required by law. And that report basically show what our clean position ended up being. So once we tally up all of our resources and get all the actual data from the California Independent System Operator and get our actual load information, we're able to say this is how we ended the year. So for 2025, we did 100% clean or carbon-free, and the extra 4% is to cover the losses, which the board directed us to do when they approved the clean pathways. We're on track to achieve the same thing in 2026. And for 2027, 2028, we're not too far behind on meeting the targets. We also had the great privilege of attending several ribbon cutting events as we brought on some new projects, and some of you got to join us there as well, including this one here, the Zero Wind Transmission Project. This is a project developed by Pattern, and it's essentially the largest project built in U.S. history. It's a little over 3,000 megawatts of clean capacity, along with, I believe, 3,500 transmission line. This project was years in the making. So for us, we will be taking a small share of that big project, 125 megawatts, which will represent somewhere between 5 and 9% of our energy needs, our clean energy needs. And we have that contract for 15 years. Next slide. Director Showalter was able to join in the festivities. So celebration, I think, in June of this project coming online. Several other CCAs are also have shares of this resource too. Next slide. And we also participated in a celebration event for a project called Tumbleweed. This is a long-duration energy storage contract. It was a lithium just basically means that it's able to discharge for more than 4 hours, in this case, 8 hours. We signed this project through CC Power, so California Community Power. That's a super joint JPA that SVCE, along with other CCAs, formed a few years ago to really try to figure out ways to participate in projects which were either too large or perhaps risky because it's an emerging technology. So it's a way for us to collaborate and de-risk some procurement efforts. This is the first long-duration storage, large long-duration energy storage project to be connected to the California Independent System Operator Grid. And it's the first of CC Power's projects to come online. And I think we have a couple of slides there. We had Chair Klein join us for the celebration. I think you could see him. Next slide. Oh, there he is. And yes, so some of the staff was able to go there as well. It was hot. Just should add that. Very hot in the desert. All right, next slide. Also wanted to provide you some pictures and some update of our new building and where we are so far. Some of you did get a chance to get a sneak peek at it. It's still under construction. We can go to the next slide. So just for some context or history here, we purchased the building back in February 2025, and construction started in February of 2026 for phase one, what we're calling phase one. We have a second phase, which is phase two, which is essentially about 1,500 square feet on the first floor that we've yet to decide what to do with. We're going to wait till we're in the building, in the space, and really understand what the community needs and what we need in order to advance our mission. On the next slide. Here are some pictures. It's actually changed since we took these pictures a couple of weeks ago. But if you look at the left picture, that's the front entrance as you're coming in from the street on the first floor. And then the middle picture is the lobby or entrance if you're coming in from the parking lot, the back entrance. The last picture on your right is going to be your future board chambers stage where your dais will be. Next slide. This is upstairs, the far left. That's the collaboration. The far left and the middle are collaboration spaces for staff. And then the last picture on the right is our staff conference room. You can go to the next slide. Here is our staff break room or kitchen where we hope to do some demos and really utilize this space both for the benefit of employees, but also for the benefit of education and community. And then here's a picture of one of the offices. Next slide. That's the phase two or the TBD space. Next slide. All right, and then we've actually already moved out of our existing office, which was on 333 West El Camino. Our lease there expired at the end of July, and so we moved everything out, all of our furniture, which will be used in our new space. So for the month of August, we are fully remote. Our goal is to get temporary occupancy permit from the city of Sunnyvale so that we can start to move staff in hopefully by the end of August. But maybe not until the first week of September. And until our board committee will be held here at Sunnyvale Civic Center. So the board meetings will continue to be in these chambers, and the executive committee or finance committee or legislative ad hoc will happen in the conference rooms here in Sunnyvale. Customers do visit us. They visit us. But during this interim period, we've set up a system where they'll have to make an appointment to visit us because we don't really have a location for them to come to easily. We've also set up some space for staff who do need to meet and together we often vendors and the like. And so we have space here at Civic Center. The staff here has been very gracious and provided some space for us to work. And we also rented a space at the Sunnyvale Satellite, which is a co-work space in downtown Sunnyvale. So September 16th to 18th, staff in the office. And so somewhere. And we're hoping this will happen over right before the board meeting. That is our goal. That is our desire. That is our wish. Yes. Question, Director McKish?
I was just going to make a comment that when I was driving here, I always have SVCE office in my nav, and it gave me the new location.
Oh yeah. So technology.
It's up to date.
All right.
And I'm like, well, wait a second, we're off a little bit here.
All right, next slide. I just want to do a really big thank you to some key staff that have done this project, including which was quite an effort. And so I'm going to list all the names out Nick Zimmerman, who's been very instrumental in this move, and Nick is here tonight too. So I want to make sure that you recognize how critical he's been to this, and then of course Zoe and Jessica overseeing construction of the existing building. And so thank you to the Sunnyvale staff. And I say that, and hopefully you'll pass that on to them. They've been very, very helpful with our transition period as well. So with that, I think I have another slide and then I'll move to, yep. So also in your agenda or the CO report, we do provide a look ahead to kind of give you a feel for what we plan to bring in terms of big items to the board. So we extend that through December, so you can kind of get a sense on all the different things that we're looking to bring to you for your consideration. Some of them are like the budget. Those will happen twice this year because we now have the sub budget that we have to do for October through December, and then adopt a new budget for our new fiscal year, which starts January. So it's a calendar budget. I do want to highlight a few things here. So scheduled, we plan to schedule a study session to work to provide kind of foundational or fundamentals about the energy wholesale market, energy market in general, and how we deliver energy to our customers. So that'll likely happen before the board meeting starts in November. But just to also highlight, the November meeting starts at 3 p.m. So you should all have that on your calendars already. And the other things to highlight too is hosting the Santa Clara Cities Association an upcoming district regulation summit / conference.
Sorry to interrupt. That's August 31st.
Yes, sorry. What did we say?
October.
Oh, sorry, August 31st. Yes, special events at 5 p.m. That'll happen here at City Hall. And you all to attend. Just SVCE elected officials, but elected officials throughout our region. 6 p.m. So before the as well. The summer holiday celebration took off to our 10th anniversary, which starts next year. So we actually start to celebrate being here for 10 years in the communities. And December, which is a bonus, 70. So I hope to recognize some of the members who are leading this. And so it should be a great event. Hope you can join us there too. All right. So the next item I want to highlight just any updates.
Thank you, Monica. Good evening, Chair and Board. Benna Chang, Director of Government and Legislative Affairs, here to give you a quick update about the end of the state legislative session. So as you know, August is the last month of the legislature's work before they send bills to the governor to get signed or vetoed, and it's always a hectic month. This session in particular feels especially hectic around energy issues because there's a lot of discussion about some major energy topics. So I wanted to give the board an update on some of the big issues that they are discussing right now. Top of that list, the governor has been out in public talking about the need to reform wildfire liability rules in California. There is no language in print yet, but there's a lot of speculation and talk about what might be in this package. So a couple of things we're hearing includes potentially limiting how much insurance companies can get from utilities for any claims around wildfires, a potential capping of damages for wildfire victims, and then potentially also a reduction in the amount that local governments can receive from claims for any damaged infrastructure from wildfires. SVCE is very closely following the developments on this. We understand that affordability impacts of wildfire mitigation is really important. These costs are things that show up in customer bills right now. And we will keep the board posted on how this develops. And when we see language, we will share that with the board as well. Other big topic is, there's been a lot of discussion this year about potentially extending the operations of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. And several of you have also been on a tour that PG hosted to learn more about the power plant and its importance to the state of California. On Friday last week, the governor was at a press conference, and during the Q&A session, he was asked directly if he supports an extension of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. And he said very clearly that this was an issue that he would pass on to the next governor. So for now, the likelihood of this moving this year is probably not very high. So wanted to give the board that update. And then finally, on building electrification funding, this is a high priority for Silicon Valley Clean Energy. We've been working with the legislature to educate them on the benefits of building electrification and reducing people's bills and helping the state meet its climate goals. Recently, the governor released a California Extreme Heat Action Plan. And in that plan, his team identified both the tech rebates as well as the low-income weatherization program funding as really important to helping homeowners and residents adapt to extreme heat. And so we are part of a larger coalition asking for additional funding to help achieve what the governor identified in this action plan. We hear that there's potential for some surplus state funds coming from better than expected stock market returns, but we will see. Wanted to let the board know that we are working on that advocacy. Next item, we have talked to the board a couple of times about a high priority for SVCE. This is a Cal CCA, our trade association sponsored bill, AB 1761. This bill is really centered around the power charge and difference adjustment, which our customers and PG&E's customers pay for some legacy utility resources. This bill is a simple data transparency bill that would allow us to have some more data and insight into how that charge is calculated. Right now, this bill will be heard tomorrow at the Senate Appropriations Committee, and hopefully will move out and then will be voted on the Senate floor. And then finally, you might have seen a lot of news and excitement around a new state program that was approved in the budget this year. This is the My First EV program. The governor was at a press conference on Friday talking about the launch of this program. So it's new state rebates that are available to first-time buyers of EVs. So it's $3,500 rebate for new vehicles, $1,750 rebate for used vehicles. There are some limits to what kind of car you can buy. So there's an MSRP limit of $50,000 for new vehicles and $25,000 for used, with an exception for California headquartered companies, which do not have this particular limit. These funds are being rolled out through different manufacturers from now through the end of the year. This pot was both funded by the state budget as well as the car manufacturers, and the amount is split evenly amongst all the manufacturers. This is a first come, first serve kind of program. We heard recently from the state that the rebates for the Tesla vehicles have already run out. So this is a very, very popular program. We expect to have a lot of interest from it. So at SVCE side, we are sharing information about this new program with our customers. There'll be an email going out next week about it. And we are also co-promoting SVCE's EV incentives as well, because both of these can be stacked. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions or comments from the board specifically to Bennett? I had a few comments. So I noticed, and thank you for the comment about the wildfire reform and all that, So for all of our cities, Cal Cities put out a call to advocate against whatever, we don't see the final wording. This is the worry about these final bills that don't go through the normal process. It's a lot of, let's say, backroom discussions in Sacramento that we end up seeing the final wording and don't really have any let's say, advocacy, because we don't know fully what we're advocating for or against, or the changes that we might do. So Cal Cities put out an action alert the end of last week or yesterday, and so I know that I signed a letter for the city, or joined onto a larger coalition for my city earlier today to join that larger coalition. So please take a look at that if you get a chance. And then beyond the first buyer EV program, I think I saw something about large vehicles, and not that it would go to residents, but from a business standpoint or maybe a city standpoint. Do you have any more details on that? Because it was as mentioned in some other article I was reading.
Yes, absolutely. And there's more information in the CEO report about the governor's signed budget, which included some additional funding for heavy duty vehicles. So yes, you're absolutely right that the state did do additional investments in that realm as well.
Okay. Any, Director Showalter?
Yeah, I just want to thank Benna for the exceptional job she does at keeping up with all of this. It really, it makes a big difference in what we can accomplish with our advocacy. So we really appreciate you. And then the other thing is just we've talked about this at the legislative committee, but please do call on us if we can be of help to reach out to our legislators or sign a petition or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from our remote locations? I see no hands. Thank you. You might want to stick around here for just a little bit as I move to the public. Let's go ahead and open up public comment on this. I have no speaker cards in the room. Is there any remote speaker wishing to speak on anything from the CEO report? And we'll come back to.
No public comment on the
Okay.
CEO report.
Thank you. Were there any other comments or questions for our CEO? Kudos. Dr. Makachek.
I'll just say that I was at the Youth Climate Summit, and that was great to see SVCE there, and the presence that we had. I think that's very inspiring to the youth. So I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, Director.
Well, let me just add, it didn't appear on your slide, but Juliet, I want to appreciate the model home appearing at the Los Altos Hills Town Picnic, where it was very warmly received.
Thank you. And I just wanted to give some bad news. You listed the Sunnyvale Branch Library was supposed to be opening up at the end of the month. The city manager made a hard decision yesterday that things weren't as far along as we had hoped, 3 weeks ahead of the actual opening. And so that will be delayed for sometime in September, early October. We'll find out that date a little bit later. And we wanted to make sure that it's not something from a public, it's something that the residents have been, especially in North Sunnyvale, have been looking forward to for a long time. But we wanted to make sure that it's perfect before we open up any of the doors. No keeping part of the building closed or anything of that nature. It's a library and a community center, and it's a lot of things. So yes, there will be a later date other than August 29th that was currently there. I see no other comments. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Director Martinez-Beltran.
Thank you, Chair. I too wanted to just, recognize that we were at the summit with the students this weekend. It was really awesome to get their energy. I've heard a lot of feedback on some of the legislation they were talking about. They were interested in the land use that's been coming out. And it was really fascinating actually to get their take on what is happening and what they thought should be done. Our CEO, Monica Padilla, was there and spoke. I thought that was really great. I had a comment on that too. Just that they felt that SVCE had been a really great sponsor, and we're very appreciative that they felt that we took their input seriously. And so I thought that was something really great to bring back as well. And I think it would be awesome to get some input from them on our legislative agenda once in a while, maybe have some of their testimony. I think would also be very powerful. So I just wanted to add that. I know Director Shawalter was there as well with us, and it was great.
Thank you. No other comments. So we'll move on to our next item. Our next item is item 5, receive Silicon Valley Clean Energy Audit Committee resignation from Director Makachek and appoint members to serve on the 2026 Silicon Valley Clean Energy Audit Committee. Is there a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good evening, board members. So as stated, this item is to receive the resignation from Director Brian Makachek from our audit committee, in addition to adding any additional members who would like to join. So Director Makachek did give us fair warning last board meeting that he planned to do this. And so after that, we did receive word from alternate director Terry McCarthy, also representing Monte Sereno, that he would be interested in joining the committee. And so with Brian Makachek's departure from the committee, and should the board choose to appoint Director Terry McCarthy to serve on this committee, we would have 5 members that would serve in this group. Just a friendly reminder, we do have 6 seats for this committee, and so there is an additional seat that is open. It does not need to be filled, but if somebody would like to join, we do have an open seat. And just a reminder that this can be a primary board member, an alternate board member, or a member agency staff person. And so again, staff recommendation is to receive Director Brian Makachek's resignation from this committee and appoint any additional committee members. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff? Director Makachek.
I'll just make a comment with respect to alternate Terry McCarthy. He's traveling and he's unable to be here today, but he's attended quite a few of our meetings. He's very engaged.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Beyond Terry McCarthy, is there any member of the board or an alternate from the board members here that have shown interest in this position? Okay, just checking. Seeing none. Let's go ahead and move on to public comment on this item. I have one speaker card in the room. Bruce?
Item 5.
Oh, thank you. My Word document got a little out of whack, so thank you. There's no speaker cards in the room for this item. Is there any remote speaker wishing to speak on this item?
No public comment online.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back to the board for a motion.
Director Mekachek, were you going to go? I didn't. Okay.
Vice Chair.
Okay, I would like to move that we appoint alternate Director Terry McCarthy to the Audit Committee.
Thank you. That was a second. Second by Martinez Beltran. Thank you. Any comments? Director Showalter.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Director Mekachek for his service. He's been very active. You are a very active member of this board, and we appreciate that. And so thank you for doing this.
Thank you. And and Director Mekachek, I'll second that. Thank you for serving on up until your resignation, all of our boards, or all of our committees, I should say. But thank you for that effort, and I thank you for also assisting and looking for an active replacement. So much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, can we have a voice vote?
Yes. Chair Klein?
Yes.
Director Hines? Director Martinez Beltran?
Aye.
Rennie?
Was that Rennie?
Yes.
Aye.
Thank you. Mekachek?
Aye.
Barbadillo?
Aye.
Hilton?
Aye.
Fruin?
Aye.
Meadows?
Aye. Tyson?
Yes.
Showalter?
Yes.
Thank you. That carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. And now we move to item number 5. Bay Area Air District Rule 9-60 NOx water heater standard update. And we have Zoe speaking.
Good evening, board directors. Happy to present you with an informational item, and I'm actually going to have my colleague Eric Rodriguez do the presentation. Eric is the Decarbonization and Community Strategies lead on my team. He has done the Herculean effort over the last 2 years of tracking all the details of the Air District work, helping to coordinate the other Bay Area CCAs, and coordinating directly on a monthly basis with Bay Area staff to make sure that all the information that the CCAs have is transmitted clearly and that we also have clear updates. So I'm going to hand this over to him to provide the most recent information.
Hello, my first time. Good morning, members of the board. Thank you so much, Zoe. I'm here with an informational update on the Bay Area Air District Zero NOx Water Heater Rule, Rule 9.6. The Air District has released draft amendments that would delay a rule by a year and create a new set of exemptions. Public comment closes tomorrow, and the Air District is tentatively scheduled to decide in November. I'll walk through what the rule does, what's changing, what it means for our programs, and how we're helping customers and cities get ready. Thank you. Yes. So before getting into the amendments, just want to give a quick refresher on what the rule actually does. The Air District is a regional regulator and for outdoor air pollution across the 9 County Bay Area. Its board is made up of locally elected officials, and it's been setting emission standards under its authority under the Clean Air Act since 1960s. So appliance rules like this are are on an extension of their longstanding work. The Rule 9.6 sets NOx emission limits on gas water heaters at the point of sale or installation. It applies when a unit is sold or installed. It does not require anyone to remove or replace their working water heater. It does not cover any other appliances. And it does not cover other appliances. Okay. Yes, thank you. I think I'm still on this slide. In practice, that means zero NOx means electric. Only electric units currently meet zero NOx standard. So at the point of replacement, a practical choice becomes a heat pump water heater. The Air District adopted the standard in March 2023. It's effective January 1st, 2027. So what's happening right now is not a new rule. It's the Air District adding flexibility before the rule takes effect. On the public health side, and this is what's on the slide, the Air District estimates that the 2023 water heater and furnace standards together would prevent up to 85 premature deaths each year and avoid up to $890 million in health impacts each year. So want to talk through where things stand at the moment. The Air District released draft amendments in July, and they do two things. One, it pushes back the deadline for small residential water heaters. It moves from 2027 to 2028. That's the highlighted point on the slide. And larger commercial units move out to 2033. The second is a set of targeted exemptions for property owners facing cost and feasibility barriers. It will be issued through a new Air District certificate system. One important caveat for all the information I'm giving, none of it's final. The current January 1st, 2027 date stays in effect until the board votes in November. And on the slide, there's 3 dates worth holding on to for the next few months. I mentioned tomorrow is the deadline for comments. November 4th is actually the date that it is expected that the Air Board will take up a vote on the exemptions and delay. And if the board adopts it in January 1st, 2028 is when everything would go into effect. So the draft, and these are proposed exemptions, the draft focuses relief on where installing a zero NOx unit is hardest or most costly. There are 8 categories on the slide, but they fall into about 4 groups. On affordability, there are exemptions for low-income property owners, including participants in qualifying assistance programs, and for owners whose mortgage and property taxes come to 20% or more of gross household income. Multifamily buildings with 5 or more units and deed-restricted affordable housing would also be delayed to 2033. On physical feasibility, there are exemptions for space and ventilation constraints and electrical panel constraints that would be both certified by a licensed contractor or through an Air District certificate. On practical operations, there would be an emergency replacement pathway where a contractor can install a non-compliant unit as a bridge and swap in for a compliant unit within 12 months, and a self-certification pathway for high hot water demand businesses like restaurants, laundries, and healthcare. And then on product availability, hydronic systems will be delayed to 2031. And units with 30 gallons or smaller would sit outside of the standard entirely for the time, rather than being time limited. One point worth noting is that how the rule actually works. It's a point of sale standard. So when a compliance burden sits with retailers and distributors and licensed contractors, the record keeping and noticing requirements in the draft fall on sellers and installers. And then exact rules and threshold are still being finalized. I just want to make sure I add that caveat. So these are a few numbers that are about the exemptions. I'll talk through them here. Roughly 15.8% of installs fall under a very low income or housing cost burden category, which is the number on the left. That would be up to 19,000 installs in the Bay Area annually. About 20%, this is the middle number, will fall under project or building constraints, roughly 24,000 installs a year in the Bay Area. And Air District staff stated total is that up 38% of small water heaters would qualify for the certified exemption. You'll notice that that doesn't necessarily, the numbers on the slide don't add up to 38%, and I'll explain why. The Air District modeled two alternative definitions for low income. The 38% uses a broader one, based on 80% AMI, or area median income, which comes out to about 17%, plus the 20% for project constraints. The 15.8% on the side is a narrow definition that staff recommended. So on this, so depending on the definition the board lands on, certified exemptions could come somewhere between roughly 36 and 38%. The 10%, which is the number on the right, it's for 30 units that are 30 gallons or less. This would sit on top of that rather than inside of it. The Air District excludes those from the certified exemption count because they're outside of the standard entirely that is exempted by certificate. So, and that would include mobile home water heaters and pool spa heaters as well. The actual number of exempted projects could be slightly higher than the percentage provided by the Air District staff before its update, or basically in the first few years. So what does this mean for SVCE? So there are three key takeaways here for our forecasting and program planning. First is timing. The one-year delay pushes back the demand pressure the rule going into effect would cause on our heat pump water heater rebates on our and contractor pipeline into 2028. It also offers more time for our programs to reach customers as they're learning about the rule. The second is that the exemptions are the key unknown. The share of installations that end up exempt is the single biggest variable for forecasting near-term participation. And early Air District estimates suggest that meaningful portion could qualify. And third is that there's a natural handoff here. Many customers who qualify for an exemption are the same customers eligible for SVCE and partner incentives that could make an electric install affordable. And so in terms of helping our customers prepare, we just want to clarify our role. SVC is not regulated under Rule 9.6 or it has no compliance obligation. What we can and have done is bring practical on-the-ground input to the Air District and help our customers prepare, and that's taken these three different forms. The first is technical. We've shared cost and market readiness and incentive data through the Air District stakeholder process. And we've shared our perspective, the perspective of what we're seeing from contractors and customers through our programs directly with Air District leadership and staff. The second is multi-agency coordination. We're working closely with peer CCAs, cities and partners so residents across the region can receive consistent and accurate information. We submitted comments that have informed current exemptions and timelines with our Bay Area counterparts. And then third is customer and local government readiness. Our rebates and our Go Electric Advisor, for example, and our community outreach are positioning customers ahead of the deadline. And we've published a blog post explaining the Air District's appliance rules in plain language for our customers online as well. We're also co-hosting the event that Monica mentioned, the upcoming Air District rule regulations, what elected officials need to know. The workshop will happen with the city, in partnership with the Cities Association and many others on August 31st here at Sunny Viejo City Hall. I just want to say doors will open 5:30. We hope you will join. And then looking ahead, this is the same set of dates I mentioned earlier. Just want to add in the August 31st event. And we'll return, staff will return to the board to update with an update on the Air District decision and include any program and outreach adjustments as needed. This is the Air District's public awareness campaign from their May board meeting. It's relevant because it shapes what our customers will be hearing over the next year and a half. Through phase one, which is where we're at right now, the Air District will focus on audience-specific messaging, on benefits of the zero NOx appliances. They'll conduct a baseline awareness survey, do initial media, contractor, and social outreach. Through phase two, which will fall through early 2027 and after board action. They'll add local advertising campaign and expanded outreach to canvassing with the clear timelines and calls to action. And then phase 3 and beyond, they'll continue to advertising, public relations, and stakeholder outreach. And this last slide is a forward version of the timeline that includes the Air District's actions on Rule 9.4, which is their zero NOx furnace rule. So you can see how these rules are happening alongside each other. That concludes my update. Happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the board? Director Showalter.
Yeah, thank you so much for this update. People are asking a lot of questions about this. And so we need to be able to talk to our residents about it. And this helps a lot. One thing I think that my residents are really interested in is how much impact the change out of a water heater has on GHG emissions. I mean, obviously, one of our goals as an agency is to help reduce our community's GHGs. So I would really like to have a little, I mean, do you know, I've heard a comparison, for instance, like this is, taking a gas water heater out is like removing a gas car from the road. I mean, do we have a couple of is that true? And do we have a couple of kind of phrases or comparisons that we can share with people? I know that the surveying does show that one of the major barriers is cost. But I personally believe that one of the major inspirations for doing this is to do the right thing and to reduce GHG. So I just like you to talk a little bit about how much good does this do?
Great question. And in terms of like a ready sort of like comparison, in terms of like what it would mean for everyone to switch out I think like a simple comparison. I don't necessarily have one off the top of my head. I know that our communications team is thinking about all sorts of ways to be able to communicate that. So we'd be happy to take that and think about how we can make it digestible, more, and more accessible for residents.
And I can share a couple of high-level statistics. We're working on this in the decarb roadmap. So residential buildings are about 17% of greenhouse gas emissions in SVCE territory. That's the kind of high,
Right.
That's one piece. But something that Air District also talks about on a air pollution level, small appliances actually create more air pollution than cars in the state from
That's right.
smog, and also than all power plants in the state. So this has been an air pollution issue that folks have been trying to grapple with for many, many years. How do you kind of get at the small appliances? But from a GHG, it's about 17%. But the key thing too, and the water heaters, I think it's about a third. We can get back to you with a kind of an exact number, but because water heating and HVAC and cars are the big gas. But the thing is, to roll back that natural gas, you need to get all of those pieces out. So it's hard to think about it as just the water heater. It's an integrated system of natural gas. And so being able to remove that water heater helps us also to reduce all of the gas in the home.
I get that.
Yeah.
I still think, just little phrases and little comparisons are that are not necessarily as scientifically strong. Well, they should be true.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily want to be giving people a science lesson. We want to be making them feel good about why they want to do it. And I do agree that the air pollution issues are very real. And as somebody who had asthma previously, I just can't tell you how frightening it is, and how the thought that this helps reduce, asthma numbers is just really, really vital. I mean, to me, that even speaks more with getting rid of gas stoves. But of course, that's not what this is about. So I just think that having sound bites related to this is very important. And so I hope we'll be able to work on some of those that we can just bout off.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Hines?
Yeah, a couple of comments. Thank you very much. Excellent work on this. This has come up a couple of times at the Campbell Chamber, and every time it comes up, it fills the chamber. Fills the chamber, and chamber meetings then go until midnight. That's an exaggeration, but every time this comes up, it's a very volatile condition when it gets to the mandated standard, using reach codes, using those words. Then that concern is primarily coming from fixed income long-term residents that have, we've got tons of them all around Campbell, and associated with the cost of selling a house. So you get the realtors in there as well. So I think we want to be very careful about the word. I know it's coming from ABAG, but how we represent it, I think we want to be careful about that, because at the same time, a bunch of my golfing buddies are HVAC installers, and they say that the only thing they do now is install products that are heat pumps. So there's a messaging conflict in there. I'm not sure that my golfing buddies is an exact measure, but it was a pretty evident type of consideration in that. So then I keep hearing that it's the number one concern. Senator Becker gave a pie chart, presented a pie chart at the SVE board meeting, which I also attended. I was there. I just wasn't in the picture. Somehow I got out of the picture. But that pie chart is very, very telling, and I think extremely important, because the key in there is that it shows that EV, electrical vehicles, are the key contributing factor. So that has to be balanced with the message that you were just discussing with the director. And it's a conversation that I've talked about before. I'm going to drive my EV home and pass up every gas station that there is. And so I think we need to kind of figure out how to balance the message with that, so that we can use that as talking points, so that when my chamber fills up again, I can have some message that can be conveyed to them. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Director Martinez Beltran.
Thank you, Chair. My question is really, you talked about the phasing and the different phases. I think it was in the second phase that they were really going to start with the media presence and putting things out. And I'm wondering, since they will be advertising that and trying to educate the public on that, and we have programs that can supplement that, are we working together so that it is a very cohesive, transition for people?
We've been working closely with the Air District staff and their communications team to make sure that they have a full list, not just of SVCE programs, but of all CCA and complementary programs, so that they can share that information out. And then also working across CCAs to support coordination. In terms of ensuring that it is a smooth and easy transition for everyone once the rules are implemented. That is beyond our full scope and sphere of influence, but we're definitely trying to work as much as we can with the Air District to support that piece for all of our customers.
Okay. I mean, it would be great if they could do, if there was some coordination to where there was from the Air District an announcement that highlighted SVCE, maybe they highlight, another CCA. And with that is kind of a link to all of our different programs, or a QR code that links right to our programs. So people are getting that information and going right straight to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Vice Chair Meadows?
Thank you, Chair. So I'm a little surprised, and you may not be able to answer these questions, but there's going to, well, in one slide it said a tentative vote, but it sounds like there's a vote on November 4th that may decide that something goes into effect in less than 2 months from now, from that date, or that it may go into effect a year and 2 months from now. And so that doesn't, and I guess you could say that because the original date was January 1st, 2027, then having just a 2-month notice from the decision, maybe it's adequate in that scenario, but I'm not quite, so I haven't been following this, and I'm probably oversimplifying because I can only imagine what those discussions sound like. But what, is that extra year intended to buy time for consumers to learn more? Or what is that extra year supposed to buy? Because if you look at it, and I'm not necessarily, the decision can be made on whatever factors, but I'm just puzzled by it because I already know people who are going out and buying gas water heaters right now, right? Because January, they think they can't get them. And so then if you change your mind in November and give everyone another year, there's going to be even more people going out and buying gas water heaters. So what is the purpose of a year delay? And again, this is not something maybe that you guys can answer, but I'm not following the logic. Is it for the consumers, or is it for the Air Quality Board, or who's it for?
I would just say probably a mix of both. Air District staff is working on the exemption process, and so I think an additional amount of time would help them be able to staff up, make sure they have the certificate process, make sure that the exemption process isn't frustrating for people. But there's also the awareness. I know that they're doing contractor engagement. I've seen them out in some of the events I've been doing with contractors as well. So there is, a bit of that also, making sure that as the rule lands, that the ecosystem is still ready, and they see that they still have a role to play in terms of being able to help that ecosystem. But that said, this is from just my perspective.
Okay. Because it strikes me, it's kind of like pulling off a Band-Aid. You got to get that thing off. And so are you going to do it fast, or are you just going to really agonize over it? I don't know. But I just, it sets up, if there's not even a clear benefit, I mean, there has to be, because I'm not hearing it. What are they buying with a delay? And how likely is that delay? Because now you're saying, well, if they don't decide or they don't take a vote in November, then it goes into effect in January. But it sounds like they're taking a vote. And so what's the likelihood? I mean, I've never seen so much, well, I shouldn't say that, and I haven't been paying attention to that long, but I really don't know. What do you plan for?
I will just double click on that first piece that Eric said related to the reason for the delay. As they started talking about the need for more flexibility measures, it became clear to the Air District staff that implementing those measures would require this fairly complicated system. And so since they don't have approval on what the system is, they haven't been able to set up that implementation. And so I think that then realize that they will need a solid year to get, as Eric mentioned, all of those flexibility measures, that ticketing system in place. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of potential water heaters a year, so it's fairly complicated. So that is really the key piece. And then in terms of it starting January 20, nobody can predict anything, but I would be very certain that we're not talking about before January 2028.
Yeah, okay, that's helpful. And I just think it's very important actually to have clear messaging around this, because if it gets out, oh, well, enough of us stood up and complained in the Campbell chambers, and so we have another year, then they're going to complain next year too. And, I just, the message.
Please don't give them any ideas.
All right, forget which city I just mentioned. But I mean, if the message is, we want to do this right, this is important for California, this is important for the Bay Area, we realize that we want to have the right system to help all of you, then say that and do it. But this waffling, again, I'm being harsh because I am not well enough informed about this, but this is so major and I'm just not hearing, okay, so just say why and move forward. I mean, because this waffling has been going on all year, right? So, and I don't mean to, because I know this has a lot of public attention too, so it's a hard decision to make, but it just seems odd to me that we're gonna, November 4th, we may or may not be implementing something in the next, 8 weeks from then.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Next up is Director Tyson.
I'm picking up a tiny bit of frustration in the Vice Chair Meadows there. And I'm saying that because I share that. And I think you talk about what is our elevator speech. This is an environmental issue. This is an environmental project. It's greenhouse gas, it's indoor air quality. Let's talk about air. I'm old enough to remember when gasoline switched from containing lead to switching to unleaded, and all the complaining about that. Oh, my car won't run right, blah, blah, blah. I think back in our town, when we first put in more stringent regulations for new housing to make them more wildfire resistant, and the complaining about the cost of that. And a few years later, who's complaining about that? Nobody. I feel like that's sort of the direction of history. So I don't know. We're not the regulating body. I think we still need to have a voice here. I'm glad we got a seminar coming up to become even better informed about this. But at a certain point, we're just going to have to decide to kind of toughen up and just say, we're going to pull through this and go in the direction that we want. And I'm going to start because my heat pump water heater installation is scheduled for a week from today.
There you go.
Yes, Director Makachek.
So I have not seen such a controversial issue for a while. And this one is pretty controversial. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think Vicki Vinkers is, she's got her hands full as the chair. But I want to say a couple things, and it was, I believe, Monica that educated me on this. And she said, think of water heaters as SVCE is on the decarbonization side, and the Air Quality Board is on the health side. And that's kind of, it's the indoor air quality where there's real problems. And Director Showalter, you mentioned asthma. It's the indoor air quality, the NOx. That's where the real problems are. Those are some of my talking points when I speak to constituents in the city of Montecito. And no one likes change, particularly if they've lived in a house and they think they've got to replace their water heater, and can't we just swap it out like we do every 10 years, But the other thing is that you can put in a heat pump water heater that is 120 volts, not 240. And that's a big, big change. So I personally kind of like the performance of the heat pump water heater in our house, because it's like an electric vehicle. You get it going and you say, I want to have multiple hot showers in the morning with a daughter or a son and my wife and I. And our heat pump water heater can just spit out or send out the hot water, which is a good thing for us. So it's a difficult time, but I think we'll get there. We'll rip that Band-Aid off.
Thank you. And I had a few comments, questions. So I agree with what Director Showalter said about having the talking points, having, that is critical. But especially as we look at the event on the 31st, for me, and I wish I was able to be there, but I do think it's important not just to have slides, but conceivably handouts from this organization highlighting our emergency gas water replacement program and kind of what we're doing to help, to help residents assess if they're having a gas water heater problem, what the replacement is. And it's trying to show that there are solutions, that this isn't like, oh, you have to change and you're not going to have hot water for 2 months or 3 months or weeks. And it's like, no, we're trying to help in that transition. And it's messaging from this organization. And, we are ultimately our 13 cities, and that's why we're doing, this program, this event, just to kind of highlight, at least from our county. But I'm not sure if other agencies around the Bay Area are doing this, but at least for our, for council members, for any public that come to specifically to this event, having that capability of saying, here's our solution. We're trying to help out. We're trying to also reduce the fear. And that's what the majority of this is why the Air District responded the way they did, because, and I've been at multiple other intergovernment agency issues where you get hundreds of speakers. Director Showalter and I were on BCDC and hearing from all the Oakland people that had all kinds of issues about the port, and it was hundreds and hundreds and thousands of emails. But here it's Bay Area wide, and it's all the fear of what that transition means. And I think it really comes down to is, okay, here's our solution. It's not a perfect solution, but we're trying to, whether or not it's January 2028 or some future date, we're trying to help out, and having something that each council member, each attendee can take home with them, not just take a slide, here's the QR code, and some people will take photos and all that, give them something that they can, postcards, it doesn't have to be a full flyer for everybody, but something limited to not only sell what this agency is doing, but trying to, help people understand, it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that you can do. You're doing the right thing for your household from an air quality standpoint, and then there's the clean energy portion. So it's a win-win situation, but it's change and people are just afraid of change. So I'll let you comment. Sorry, I'm on my soapbox too much.
Absolutely. So at the August 31st event, it will be really focused on how to respond to hard questions and to empower leaders with good factoids. We will have actually communications expert there to actually talk not just about the science, but how you speak about these things. We will have handouts as well, so people have that clear messaging. There's also an event coming up on September 10th that is being facilitated by SPUR that's specifically focused on health issues. And there is a doctor from Stanford. I believe we'll make sure that is in the talking points so that you all have information about that event on September 10th.
Okay, thank you. No other comments from the board? Oh.
Can I just add a couple of comments here? First, I want to really extend my appreciation to Zoe and Eric. They have not, and they're not just doing this on behalf of SVCE, they really are leading the CCAs in collaborating, in getting our thoughts together, and on working with the Air District staff on how to implement these in a way that is not going to essentially backfire on the whole environmental movement, because that is a risk. If you don't do it right, then it could have some unintended consequences. And I do want to add that in my previous life or job some years ago, we struggled with a similar type of, I guess, mandate or standard. And some of you probably were here then, some of you not. But when California was faced with many droughts, including the droughts in the late 80s, the state implemented an ultra-low flush toilet program. You talk about people hating something. Oh my God. Yeah, and we got through it. We all have ultra-low flush toilets now, and so we will survive this as well. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you realize how much work Eric and Zoe are doing on behalf of all the CCAs and some of the munis as well.
Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and open up for public comment. I have one speaker card in the room. Bruce Kay. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. One thing I learned recently is that when the Air District comes together, the board comes together on my birthday, November 4th, abstentions are the same as no's. Not being present is the same as a no. So of the 24 board members, 13 have to show up and vote yes for anything to pass. That surprised me. So I just thought I'd share it so that you're aware of it as well. And perhaps you can contact friends and colleagues who are on the board and make sure they understand that they can't take the day after the election off to celebrate their victory. They have to go to that meeting. In 2003, when the original district measure was passed, was the second year of the Biden administration. People cared about the environment more than they do now at all levels of politics and at all levels within the community. And I was super proud of the vote that was taken. It was, I believe, 22-1 abstention and 1 absence or something like that. I honestly hope that the Bay Area will show California and the rest of the world that we haven't forgotten that the climate is in crisis. Certainly the people in Spokane know that it's in crisis. People in Europe, including, well, I guess not the 25,000 who died in the recent heat wave, know that the planet is in crisis. The El Nino is going to cause people who depend on fish as their primary source of protein to have to find an alternative. Ecosystems are collapsing. And when I go to the Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action meeting and look at all these people who were born in 2008 who could live to the end of this century, I wonder how many of them are going to make it. And honestly, the indoor air quality from NOx is not the thing that I focus on the most. It's definitely ecosystem collapse that we as a species need to figure out if we're smart enough to prevent. Yes, I have 52 more seconds, but I haven't got 52 more seconds worth of thoughts. But I urge you to reach out to anyone you know who is on the air board, even if you just know them slightly from a League of Cities meeting or something like that, and share what you can of my fear that we have waited too long to take serious action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And even that's not the air board's mission, right? They're all about NOx. And let's get solar thermal hot water heaters on that slide, because solar thermal with electric resistance backup is a perfectly viable solution for almost all the corner cases that physically don't work for heat pump water heaters.
So, yeah, Director.
I was just going to compliment Mr. Carney on working with the Silicon Valley Youth Climate Action. So I saw you there, and your leadership is visible. So I compliment you.
I see no other speaker cards in the room. Are there any remote speakers wishing to speak on this item?
I see no hands raised for this item, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any final comments from the board? Seeing none. So thank you very much. Thanks for the presentation. And with that, we will move on to item number 6, Silicon Valley Energy Programs and Marketing Mid-Year Highlights. Report. Enroll.
Good evening, Chair and Board of Directors. My name is Raul Hernandez. I'm the Marketing Manager here at SVCE, accompanied by my colleague Napur, Manager of Decarbonization Programs. Thank you for allowing this time for us to speak, and it's our pleasure to give you all a mid-year informational highlight of our programs and marketing efforts. Next slide, please. Oh, right here. So we know that effective marketing strategies to help promote our diverse portfolio program offerings is only part of the puzzle to help our customers reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. We feel that the way we market programs and the way we think about program creation is to meet people where they're at and serve the needs of customers so that decarbonization is easy for them to understand, and most importantly, do. As a refresher, I'd like to jump into high-level slides of our marketing and program strategies and the concepts we use to make sure we're meeting customers where they're at. Starting with our marketing strategy. Over the last few months, I've had the pleasure of strategizing a framework with my colleague Sunny of how to promote multiple programs at once digitally. Since we offer many programs, it can be difficult for customers to easily find the best ones. And I'm proud of the work my colleagues and I have done to come up with a way to do this in a way that works for our small but mighty team. We developed an umbrella marketing approach where we promote multiple programs under one marketing campaign that runs throughout the year. So we use this push and pull concept that you see here on the screen, where we're consistently pushing out content, always to attract new customers, while pulling in customers who are already considering maybe a heat pump or some other kind of electric technology. So keeping these campaigns tech focused. And we've done a great job at using this funnel to meet people where they're at on their journey to go electric. And being able to group these offerings, it's allowed our marketing team to focus on the development of joint program content, marketing activations as well, so meeting people in person, and then focusing on the data and operation side of things, always with a customer experience centered mindset. And because we touched on the grouping of the programs on the marketing side, I'd like to talk a little bit about the program strategy. So our programs team took the same approach to make sure we're grouping our programs into 3 buckets, which is our single family, multifamily, and commercial. So reframing our programs so that eligible customers can easily understand options and take advantage of them as they see fit. So both teams took the same action of consolidating our offers so that customers can continue to easily find the programs that suit them best. And now getting to our highlight phase, starting with the marketing side. I'll be talking about our program, eHub. I feel that eHub is one of our popular pages. We've seen eHub as the education gateway for programs and other initiatives. This specific campaign is currently running, and it'll run over the next few months. And this one is exciting because it's a campaign we created in-house. My colleague Leslie created taglines, images, and videos that you see here on the screen, with the creative concept of the same energy, the rush of winning, finishing a race or celebrating, and reframed as the excitement and pride of going electric. So a bold, positive choice that feels like a personal victory. And this is something that has done really well. As you can see the numbers here, these are the numbers within the first week of this campaign launching. And it's bringing steady traffic to the eHub page, which is the page that we use in order to put people into our marketing funnel as an educational piece, so that pull factor, and people who are already considering these types of appliances. The next event that I want to talk about is our EV Ride and Drive. This was an event that I was heavily involved in, and one that I'm excited to have been part of for the planning. We worked with our CBO partner, Breathe California, to host our first ever Ride and Drive event in Gilroy this past June. We had 60 test drives in 4 hours and hosted a little over 100 people. Customers were able to learn about resources that were available to them, meet people in person who are EV owners, also people who are thinking about purchasing one, so like-minded individuals. They were also able to speak to car dealerships in a non-salesy environment, which is also important so that they don't feel pressured. And then also being able to answer any questions that they have in person about our rebates, and hopefully that they'd be able to take action after those conversations, either now or in the future when it comes to purchasing an electric vehicle. But some of the tactics that we used to help promote was obviously our SVCE emails. We did cross-collaboration with the local library and other nonprofits in the Gilroy area. We ran ads in the local newspapers. We did event ads on Meta. But we feel that the favorite one was free tacos for those first folks that decided to do test drives, and also free ice cream for those that decided to pop into the event. The plan is to do more EV electrification and home electrification events in the South County area like this, because it's been a customer base that's been a bit of a test for us to reach. Historically, we've seen lower uptake in programs like the EV rebates. So doing this type of event only helps us spread the word and get stronger in the South County area. So this event was a good example of our activations and push concept, as we're meeting people in person and providing a space so that they could get firsthand experience on how these cars work and what resources are available to them. And our last marketing promotion update is the promotion of our $500 heat pump water heater bonus rebate. This campaign was one that we're super proud of, as it was the first campaign that used this umbrella marketing approach. It showcases the versatility we can have by promoting a single appliance versus a specific program. So by promoting the single appliance, we lead our customers to different programs that match the journey that they're on currently. So knowing that we had a limited time bonus, it was important for us to reflect this change in multiple program pages. So there was a lot of collaboration that my colleague Sunny did with internal teams as well as external agencies to let them know that these changes were happening a month beforehand. And also a limited time seasonal bonus is attractive to our customers and inspires action sooner rather than later. And this was another perfect example of a campaign that needs both the push and the pull content. So education and also letting people, our customers, know that what resources are available so that they can take action right there and then. And I had mentioned before, we created a heat pump specific campaign webpage. So all web traffic is still leading to that page now, so that customers could know, be on the educational aspect of things, and then also knowing what resources are available and what other rebates are out there. We did email reminders, we did newsletter blasts, but I feel like the key component to all this was the collaboration that we had with our external agencies to make sure that they knew that this was happening beforehand to let their constituents know. This is our always on campaign, so it's still currently running, and we're seeing some successful numbers that my colleague Napor will touch on.
Great. Great. And so as Raul described, we did a marketing campaign, and we also had a $500 bonus rebate, which was limited time just for the months of May and June, and it had exactly the intended effect that we wanted it to have. So you can see from this graph, there was a huge spike in the volume of applications that we got during that bonus rebate offering. It was a 200% increase over what we saw in the earlier months of the year, as well as 200% higher than May and June of 2025. It was actually very similar to the impact of the announcement by the federal government that the tax credits were going to sunset at the end of 2025. So clearly, when we tell customers that there's a limited resource out there, there's a rush to try and take advantage of that resource, which is what we saw. We do hope that most of these applications will lead to installations. We have a 68% completion rate in this home rebate program, so we do think that that will lead to some successes. And then, as Raul said, we're trying to market things by appliance. So that same marketing campaign also had an impact on our direct installation program, which is called Full Service Home Upgrades. So we saw a very similar increase in applications coming in, again, very closely mirrored what we saw with the federal tax credits. And we have a 98% completion rate for customers that come through this program and actually complete their installations. So a lot of what you might hear about from us in terms of programs tends to focus on single-family customers. But I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to share some of these highlights with you tonight to talk about some of our other customer programs that we offer. We have a multifamily retrofits program that has been running for about 2 years now. Just as a reminder, this program is exclusively for deed-restricted affordable housing, and we are focused on whole building electrification. We have about 10 sites that are enrolled in the program, and we're trying to electrify 670 housing units. We were very excited when we had our first site complete construction. It's a site in Sunnyvale that underwent whole building electrification, and we're going to be doing a ribbon cutting for it in September. And then we have 2 sites that are currently under construction. One is in Gilroy and one is in Morgan Hill. We have done some tenant engagement workshops here. We've installed EV chargers and solar, and heat pumps are going in as we speak. Those 2 sites are particularly exciting because we were able to leverage $1 million in funding from the CEC's Equitable Building Decarb program. And so it has given us an opportunity to create some visibility at the state level for this program. And we hope to be sharing the lessons we learn with the state eventually. Those 2 sites are going to complete installation at the end of this, one at the end of this month and one in March. And then we have 7 additional sites that are in various stages of scoping and engineering design that should be complete by the end of 2028. I apologize, there's a typo on the side. It says 5 additional sites, but it should be 7. Okay, so moving away from multifamily retrofits, we also have programs for businesses. We have our business rebates program that offers rebates for switching over to induction cooking, heat pump water heaters, and heat pump HVAC. This program has been running for about 3 years. We had recently had a team on the ground go to over 100 businesses door to door in Sunnyvale and Mountain View to educate customers about this offering. It's a great opportunity because it also allows our team to learn about what the barriers are that business owners might be thinking about and help troubleshoot some of their issues. We've done similar canvassing in South County before as well. The opportunity here is that nonprofits and member agencies are also eligible for this business rebates program. So we recently had City of Morgan Hill install a rooftop HVAC unit on their police department, which was pretty exciting. And not only that, businesses can also take advantage of our EV charging rebates program. So this program previously was only open to multifamily property, both market rate and affordable. We've now changed the eligibility to include businesses and workplaces, as well as publicly accessible locations like municipally owned parking lots. So it's another great opportunity to leverage the funding that SVCE offers. It's also a good example of continuous learning that SVCE does through its programs. So we took some customer feedback and also benchmarked with neighboring agencies that offer similar programs. And we tried to simplify our program offering so that it's much easier for customers to understand and take advantage of. So we now cover up to 100% of project costs. We cover unlimited number of level 1 outlets at multifamily properties, and we changed the maximum limit to 18 level 2 ports versus the dollar amount, which is much easier for customers to apply for. So again, this is available for all 3 types of entities, and we encourage you to take advantage of it. And lastly, I just want to express appreciation for the board's interest in programs and marketing initiatives. We hope you like hearing about these. We also really appreciate when you amplify these opportunities for your local communities and help your constituents take advantage of them. We've also been working more closely with sustainability staff and other staff at cities on more specific initiatives, like we have a city rebates program that 4 of our member agencies are running city-specific rebates through SVCE's program. So that's a really great opportunity to drive down the cost of electrification. And then there's also member agency grants. And then last, as Raul said, we're really trying to meet customers where they're at. So we would love any kind of warm handoffs or introductions you have to local community-based organizations or customers in your territories who may not have heard of SVCE or may not have participated in a program before. And then I'll end with just a reminder that a lot of the updates that Raul and I covered tonight are in the decarbonization report that is provided every quarter to the board. There's the whole programs team and marketing team that contributes to running all of these programs and marketing initiatives. So just want to give kudos to all of them, and we'll take any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions from the directors? Director Showalter? Yes, no?
No, I
Okay.
just haven't been able to figure out how to turn off this microphone. Sorry.
No problem. Director Makachek.
Thank you for the presentation. And I was writing down, well, are we doing anything to connect the EV, used EV rebates or the government, the state of California amounts with the EV charging? Because to me, you can't get an EV if there's no charging, but if we can get the charging and there's an EV subsidy, if you will, those two work hand in hand. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So the EV charging rebates program funds chargers at multifamily or, like I said, businesses and public locations. So it wouldn't cover single family homes. But that said, it's usually hard for multifamily residents, depending on whether they own or don't own their units, to leverage an EV charging rebate. So our EV rebates and promotions around our own EV rebate program, which is income qualified, as well as the My First EV program, all of that communication will get folded into our customer newsletters and things like that. For the EV charging rebates, we're more focused on properties or retail locations, things like that, where those charging rebates can actually fund charging. Does that help answer?
I may not have articulated that very well. I thought there's rebates of up to $3,500 for a used vehicle that's 25,000. Did I no?
It's 1750.
Oh, 17. Okay, 1750. Fine. So 1750, but that helps with a used EV, but now you need a place to charge it. So to me, there's a synergy between those two offerings, if you will. Am I wrong?
Yes. So am I don't know if I'm understanding
I
the
think
question.
the question was, I think you answered it, that we don't provide rebates for single-family residential EV chargers.
No, I'm talking multifamily.
Oh, for
The whole thing is multifamily. So when I look at multifamily, I'm thinking, okay, you can't get an EV if you don't have a charger. But if there's chargers that are going into multifamily and there's a 1750 rebate for a used EV, then maybe that will increase the demand for used EVs and help with equity, social equity, if you will.
Yeah, so I think the challenge is that a lot of times multifamily residents don't have much influence over getting a charger installed at their properties. So that becomes a barrier because they could advocate to their property manager to have a charger installed, but ultimately it's going to be the decision of the property owner or property manager.
I think maybe Director Makachek is asking for those landlords that are taking up our program content of trying to put in EVs.
Mm-hmm.
Are we trying to partner with those sites to sell the concept
I see what
of
you're
a
saying.
new EV
The other way
or a
around.
new used EV? Sorry, the discounts for a new EV or a used EV from a state standpoint. And I think it's the other half of that. It's no longer the electrification of the site. And I don't know if I'm speaking for Director Makachek, but it's an opportunity to say, okay, we've now energized your parking structure, your garage, whatever it is. Now, can you please pass this on to the residents if it's from a rental location?
Yeah, so I think we could look into whether there's an opportunity to educate tenants through the property owners. And then, Raul, I don't know if we have direct outreach to multifamily residents specifically, but there's an opportunity to include that there as well.
Yes. Yeah. So right now I know our team is working at one of the locations right now that's a multifamily property to talk about just like some of the upgrades that are happening, and would be a perfect opportunity to mention something like that there. So yeah.
And then my second question is, you said that you would help with introductions to community-based organizations that are interested in electrification, who's the SVCE contact that I should speak with?
So it's usually me or Eric Rodriguez, who's just up here not too long ago. So we both handle
you,
our
Raul.
CBO relationships. Yeah.
I will see you.
Any other comments from the board? Questions? I see none. I will go ahead and open up public comment on this item. I have no speaker cards in the room. Are there any remote speakers wishing to speak on this item?
No comments online, Chair.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to council, to the board for any final comments? None? I just want to say thank you for the programs. I think, this is and it's how we market them and how, ultimately we get out the messaging that, here's what we're trying to do. The decarbonization of the local community is a big deal. So great to see, outreach and focused outreach actually increasing. And it's that repetition, and especially from social media and everything else, once if they're responding, the algorithms normally at least bring that back to them. So as we continue to change our messaging and sell, the fantastic things that all of our staff are doing, it becomes an easier sort of ask or a reminder that we're here trying to do good. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Oh, 1 second. Director Showalter.
Yeah, my mic is still on, but anyway, I just wanted to brag a little bit about Sunshine Gardens in Mountain View. I'm sure you're familiar with them. The owner is just convinced that she can do any environmental improvement that needs to be done, and she kind of does that and provides an example. But the thing that I kind of following up on what Chair Klein was saying is that apartment complex has served as such a good ambassador for the programs that the city is doing. We have a small grant to electrify 2 multifamily structures in Mountain View. And one is to do the whole thing. And then the other one is just, to put in the appliances and everything. And then the other one is to just upgrade the electrical wiring so that they can do the appliances. But anyway, I just wanted to say that Sunshine Gardens with Deborah in the lead, I'd be glad to, you guys are connected to her, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she's just been such a great ambassador. So I think that using the individuals who have gone through this and getting the apartment owners who've gone through it to be our ambassadors, it's just it's really smart.
Right.
And besides that, we owe them a lot. We owe them a lot of thanks for kind of stepping up, because that's often, anyway, so I just wanted to mention Sunshine Gardens. I mean, really, they even have a farmer's market on a regular basis where it's just, they do everything. It's very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none. Thank you very much. We'll move on to board member announcements and direction on future agenda items. Anyone, any comments? So I did have a comment. I just wanted to remind, or for those of you that should have received email, remind everyone that we're going through the process of going through our CEO's yearly review. So you should have all received email from Nadine Levin. If you haven't, please contact the clerk. And just as a reminder that she will also be reaching out to you over the next week to set up one-on-one Zoom meetings to kind of go through your comments on your online comments. So thank you for doing that. That's an important part of our yearly process. Any other comments from the board? Remote? No? Oh, yes.
I'm looking forward to October the 14th.
Yes, I think we all are. Fingers crossed, exactly. With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 8:50 p.m. Thank you all. Have a good evening.